Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. As you know, if you've been following our recent updates, which were Donna, Ziggy, Fred, and I, we've done 2 different live streams going over the Summer Wells case to some degree. We've had Fred right there with us, giving us a kind of a rundown over the first. I think we got to day 2, even into day 3 a little bit. And he was able to go over a lot of what he witnessed, the different things that he knew about that were going on. And so we were able to relay that, or he was in the previous videos. Well, of course, as it always goes, some people get really butthurt about that, which doesn't exactly make sense to me. You'd like to think that we're all on the same team, that we all want the same things. But it seems that that's not the case at all. You see, there's these people that whenever you get close enough to something interesting, something compelling, something that actually has teeth, right? They shut it down. They make fun of you. They impugn your character. And what they've done to me, what they've done to Donna, here today, it's actually going to be kind of it's going to be really informational today. We're going to go over why Donna is not a charlatan, why she is not a fraud, how they could say that. I mean, seriously, what kind of investigative ability do they have to not have even tried to look into the past things she said and seen what happened to the cases she talked about? I'm going to show you what Donna said. I'm going to show you timestamps. This is going back to TYLEE's case. This is January 31st, 2020, that she said these things. And at the time when Donna did this recording, nobody had a clue where these kids were. That's another thing before I get too far. The dishonesty that surrounds that case is unreal. Like, we've got family members still to this day have never admitted that they first heard every piece of information about that case from Donna first. I'm going to show you the truth. If I'm saying something, I need to back it up with fact, with proof. This is the proof. Can you guys see the timestamp right there? This is January 31st, 2020. These children were not found until June 9, 2020. That is roughly like, what, 5.5 months later, 4.5 months later. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can zoom back in. There we go.
I'm seeing a leg. What I'm seeing is so gross, I don't necessarily even want to say it because it just cannot be true. And I'm going to delete this from whatever. If I put something up, I'm going to delete this. But it's just sickening. I see them starting a fire and roasting. It's like at this little summer home thing. And there's where you could conceivably like roast a pig there. It feels like they're roasting a leg, like the leg of the girl. I swear to God. I can't. It's hard for me to believe how this could be happening in my mind. So what I'm going to do, and so I'm just going to say a prayer of, I feel like with the girl, he's chopping her body up like a butcher would. Jeez, like with a meat cleaver. First, he was using something else for whatever I was talking about a minute ago. I saw a different kind of, I don't know what he was taking her leg, her thigh off with, but it was bigger than the meat cleaver. But then on her knee bone, he was using a meat cleaver. He's like literally there's a garage and off a building not connected to the little house, the little summer house. You know, it could be a permanent house, but that's the type and style and the feeling I have. That's all. Maybe because I never been there, and I just been to movies or something. Like, I don't know why I have that feeling, but just keep an open mind. There's the garage part is not connected to the main house. It's like considered an outbuilding here in California or whatever. Okay, so I feel that the wood, you'd recognize it right away, because it's like when the siding is plywood, but then they thought they were being decorative, so they would take a 1 inch by 2 inch boards and put them evenly spaced on the outside and then paint the whole thing like that's a kind of decorated, you know. Like all over the floor or in the cracks at the end, that because he didn't do that great of a job of putting up all the plastic. The plastic I'm seeing now with her is clear plastic. Why would he have two different plastics? Who the heck knows? So with her, he's trying to do something different. Oh.
What's so shocking is all these things you're hearing right here ended up coming out in court testimony. That's the most bonkers part about all of this, is we heard it in both trials, even down to the carnivore activity on the leg bone. I'm not kidding. This was crazy to witness. Crazy. Okay.
Oh, and then the two pieces of one leg. They're literally showing me of them putting this leg on this thing, like a rotisserie type thing, an outdoor thing that you would cook over an open fire like you might roast a pig on, I swear to God, and eating it. And they don't even care. It's like they're insane or something. Like, and it makes me wonder, like, why am I seeing this? Like, would my worst imagination make this up? Like, feel free to discount it, and it could make my entire thing seem like nonsense. But you know what? I have to say it. They show me again. Okay, so I'll keep going. Mediumship is like 10 times as strong. Level of how much the spirits are emphasizing something over and over and over and over. It feels like he used a hacksaw part of the time and dismembered his daughter. Okay, and this is his stepdaughter. I don't know who this relationship, but whatever. It would have been the stepfather or something. I don't know. But anyways, it feels like, yeah, I see him using a hacksaw. I'm not kidding. And also a meat cleaver. He may have tried an axe. Like, it sounds like he was trying a few things. I mean, used a few different things in chopping this body up. Okay, so now they're showing me. Okay, so they showed where they put those parts. Now they're showing me the abdominal part of a body with all the organs coming out. Feels like there's a drain on the floor. Yeah, it's something important. If you see, obviously you would, if you saw a drain on the floor, would look in the drain. Some little piece of jewelry she was wearing may have, or a little sweater pin, or.
That was another really explosive part in the trial. It was Chad Daybell's. I think I remember being so almost like shell shocked when that detail came out. Okay, it corrects me. A necklace with a Pura Vida charm, not gold, belonging to TYLEE Ryan was a key piece of physical evidence in the Chad Daybell murder trial. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, good. The necklace was found by investigators near the fire pit on Chad Daybell's property, where TYLEE's dismembered and burned remains were discovered in June 2020. Again, timestamp on this video that you're watching, listening to, was from January 31st, 2020. Okay, now we're going to go to what they did with JJ. And then you guys are going to hear the facts.
And so makes me wonder if she put it down or if the stepfather did. Oh no! See, now I'm getting blunt force trauma to the head. Okay. Maybe they didn't die the same way. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's getting hit in the head.
I think she was TYLEE right
I think
there.
he's smashing her skull with the butt of an axe or the handle part of an axe. He wants to crush it so no one can recognize it, so the bird's taken away and stuff.
That came out too.
And then I'm feeling like the mom putting going, it's okay, to the boy, it's okay, everything's all right, it's okay, everything's all right. And then just she has some like giant plastic bag and she just puts it over his head really fast and starts wrapping something around. I don't know if it's tape or what. And then the father sees that she's going gung-ho on that, and so he runs over to help her. Like they pin him down, and the father's trying to, or the man's trying to pinch his nose so he can't breathe. And so that's at the doorway of where I think there's bunk beds there. But there's a bedroom, the boy's bedroom. I'm not 100% sure if he shares it with the girl or not, but I feel like there's those kind of bunk beds or something where.
And again, let's talk about when this was. This is when the FBI, I believe they had just come out with the picture of the two kids and nobody had any details about what happened to them. They were missing, and Lori and Chad, I think that was before they were even summoned, if I'm not mistaken, that if they didn't present the kids, then she was gonna be arrested. Oh, there's the fire pit. And over here is the tree. And in the very beginning of her reading, she says, which you guys actually haven't heard that part yet. I'm going to show you that in this other part. But this is where JJ was buried, right over here, by rocks, or with rocks and wood. All right, now, here we go.
Investigators found their remains on their mother's 5th and current husband Chad Daybell's property. Warren says JJ's autopsy took about 4 hours. TYLEE's took about a week because, as we've reported, her remains were burned. Today, Warren revealed JJ's cause of death was asphyxia by plastic bag over the head and duct tape over the mouth. When he described TYLEE's cause of death, he said it was homicide by unspecified means, which means he can't pinpoint exactly what that was. Today, jurors were shown photos from those autopsies, but only the jury. The judge said those photos would be inappropriate to.
Did you guys hear that? Straight stated right here, exactly what Donna said first, January 31st, 2020, that a bag was placed over his head and duct taped, and that is what killed him. He was suffocated. Did you hear what the expert said?
Formed an expert opinion concerning the cause of death of JJ PieLo. I have. What was that? I determined the cause of death to be asphyxia by a plastic bag over the head and duct tape covering the mouth. And then there's another segment that's other significant conditions. I put bound with duct tape, bruising of the arms, and abrasions of the neck. Ultimately, the cause of death was asphyxia by plastic bag over the head and duct tape over the mouth preservation. So we broke the seal on the bag and opened that bag up, and then the body was further enclosed within a black plastic tarp that was held together with multiple strips of duct tape. And then we opened that up, and that was the first time that you could actually see the body. Right from the beginning, there were some things that obviously jumped out. One, there was a white plastic bag over JJ's head, and it was wrapped around the face multiple times with duct tape all the way down to the neck. In addition, the forearms and the hands were bound with duct tape, and the ankles were bound with duct tape. JJ was wearing red pajama tops, red pajama bottoms, and black socks.
That detail. If you have to rewind this just a hair, go back to the last clip of Donna. She said he was in his pajamas. Very first reading she did, she said that he was supposed to be in bed, that he was playing by his toy box, and that's when Lori, basically she just decided out of nowhere to end his life. And remember, in this clip you just heard of the expert, he talked about JJ being in his diaper, his night diaper. Well, Donna, that was what she picked up on too, because he was supposed to be in bed. So, but here we go. Here's the expert again.
I'm seeing a leg.
Or sorry, Donna again. A human leg. So you hear this kind of detail, right? And now you think back to, what did Donna say about Summer Wells? If you want, we can revisit that reading now that you guys know she's legit. Anybody interested? I mean, this doesn't even hit the tip of the iceberg. There were hundreds more details, micro details in the courtroom about carnivore activity, about the most tiny of things. Why wouldn't we want to embrace the help that she could give to these cases? It could lead to clues. Oh yeah, that's where I was going to go to. Let me show you my correspondence with law enforcement. All right. So we'll go from right to left because these are actually the older ones. Actually, the oldest one is in the middle. It's a little out of order. I'm sorry. How do I move that out of the way? All right. So not sure if you can see my screen. Yeah, I think you can. Okay, good. June 29, 2020. I had just gotten off the phone with Ron Ball. He was a detective for the Lori Vallow case. I said, my name is Lauren. I just spoke to you regarding the psychic who saw in great detail the burial of TYLEE and JJ. She makes it very clear that in that shed, if there's a drain, that's where TYLEE's body was dismembered. Since the probable cause affidavit came out, I revisited her videos she put on YouTube only to discover that every key detail given in her videos was confirmed in the affidavit. And you know what? That was just the beginning, because there was so much more that came out in the courtroom. There are two options. You can listen to her videos and try to decipher what she's saying, or you can refer to my breakdown of them, which I did recently. If you end up watching the videos I did, I connect what she's saying with pictures down to even the description of his home. I could help you figure out where she's talking about so you guys can continue to stack this case and get the conviction. One thing to note, the psychic recanted that it's not a cabin. She notes the water on it and what seems like are canals on the property, which can be seen in aerial photos on June 9, 2020. And then I list that. So let's see. Next, here is what I saw. This is pretty wild. Let me see. What was this video? Hold on. It was crazy. I was on Facebook in their group, the Facebook group. And suddenly I saw that people were at Chad Daybell's house, and it was mind-blowing because I thought, well, what are they doing there? Well, I had just gotten off the phone with Detective Ron Ball, like probably 2 or 3 hours before that. And I noticed that they were all around his property going into that barn. So here's the video. Hang on a second, and then I'll refer back to these in just a sec. Okay, take note of the date. You guys saw the date, right? Oh, okay, it does give it. You guys saw the date on my email, right? That it was June 29, 2020. Okay. Well, this is what he's saying. More towards the end, you see this. You see, guys.
I'm not quite sure what they're looking at. Police are being very tight-lipped about this. Madison County Prosecutor Rob Wood did not have anything to say in regards to this search warrant, and the Rexford Police Department have not yet returned our calls, but we do know it's in relation to some sort of Rexburg warrant. They are the ones that are investigating the 2 missing children.
Okay, so when I was on the phone with them, I told them that there was a tool, some sort of instrument that was inside of that outbuilding, garage, whatever you want to call it, and that it would have TYLEE's DNA on it. This is all from Donna's reading. Okay, this is all from Donna's reading. Sure enough, within a few hours, they're at his property and they find the tool, and it in fact has TYLEE's DNA on it. Came out later in the trial. Crazy. Yeah, I guess she's right. She got something there. Here's your proof. You saw the dates. Now, here's my email, June 29. Let's make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. Okay. I'm not sure how well. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can zoom any. Wow, Ron. This is June 29, 2020. Wow, Ron, you are awesome. I just saw that the barn was being looked at and evidence collected. Thank you for taking this tip seriously and not laughing at me for suggesting the psychic. You are doing wonderfully. Let's hope you find all that you need to. Now let's zoom out. Then, after the trial had begun, the first trial, what was that? That was Chad Daybell's. Here's what I said on May 19, 2023. I said, hello, Ron. I spoke to you nearly 3 years ago about the lady that saw the murders of JJ and TYLEE. Did you ever check Chad Daybell's deep freezer? Every other detail she saw 5 months before the FBI found them was exact. How Lori suffocated JJ with a white trash bag, TYLEE dismembered an outbuilding and burned in fire pit, tools used that an axe would have her DNA and be on wall of Chad's outbuilding, that a necklace fell off of TYLEE, that they ate the leg of the girl. She literally said all this and more, and there was not a mention ever by anyone. Rocks and board buried around JJ being in red pajamas when killed. Let's see, a blanket buried with him. There's some things I think you guys never found, and I'm sure by now they've been trashed. Meat in deep freeze, and the remainder of tools used dropped into body of water in a blue tarp. If you want to hear the whole thing she said, here's the video, and this was done January 31st, 2020. By the way, he had responded. Where's his response to me? It was over here. It was all the way to the right. It said, thanks, Lauren. I will review the recordings. Thanks for your interest and your tip. So again, I say, why was there never a mention? Well, because the optics. It looks kind of strange, right? I mean, most of you guys probably didn't believe in this kind of stuff either. I know I certainly did not until witnessing it. But it's the truth, and it really happened. And I can't believe that, you know, that people with disability, they could be so helpful in true crime. Why wouldn't we use their ability instead of calling them frauds and charlatans? It's just absolutely bonkers to me. Now let's go back to her reading about Summer Wells, and we can discuss.
Okay. Well, first it looked like an upside down gazebo, but then it looked like a reflection, like a mirror reflection. Definitely the mirror thing is bringing up chills on my legs. So I'm supposed to be seeing a mirror, and I feel like we're going to be looking also for one of those places with the carousel where you ride horses. They filmed her there. They took pictures of her there. I think that might be where they originally met at. Those people took pictures to see if they wanted to buy her. And it's the mom I see selling her. I don't want to put the father in the picture, so when things this serious, like, I like to let it just clear. I don't do that every time I'm just doing a regular reading. And sometimes it's good to let it build up, but it's something with
Let me say real quick too, some total ignoramus tried to say that Donna's dog in the background was snorting drugs. Like that whatever that sound is, right? That it's actually her dog, but that it was somebody who was like doing cocaine or something. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? That's nuts, ludicrous. Thank you real quick to Curly Girl 1960 also for becoming a new member. Thank you so much, guys, for joining my membership. It really means the world. And I also want to say some thank yous in the beginning to Chrissy M for becoming a member and for Tony Ellen Silva. Thank you, guys so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, sorry, back to it.
Guess I could do, I could do that too, but because then the energy builds, which is good. But at the same time, it is murder, and I'm making an accusation in some sense of the word. A steam engine, and it might be the park where the steam engine is. I feel like saying Tennessee Hills. I wonder if there's a brewery or winery, Tennessee Hills Brewery or winery. I'm seeing that horse stable again where when you leave the watering pond and then you see that really well-groomed horse stable. See, these people wanted to ingratiate her and have Summer go along with them until at which point, whatever point they decided not to have it go that way. But I keep getting groomed since birth, and they've said that in my ear like 5 times. Like the first time I'm like, yeah, could be, but they keep saying it. So I think essentially these are all selling points to the pedophile ring. And the thing about it is, you never know who's really involved, I'm asking for Jesus Christ. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm seeing someone stabbing her, and you'd think just a little kid would be easy just to choke. For some reason, I'm seeing someone stabbing her. And this guy, it's almost like theater. Like he's dressed like some kind of character. Gross. Like, okay, I'm seeing a knife being used. Chris and Jeff. So I'll look up any names. I mean, there could be a cross street named Christian and Jefferson, you know what I mean? Or it could be 2 brothers, or it could be 2 people. Just pops into my, or it could be mind garbage. So it just popped into my head. Okay, I'm seeing going to one of these underwater. Well, what I'm seeing is, where I live at SeaWorld, and that you go under and you watch the fish through or you watch the orca whale or whatever through the, aquarium. I feel like part of the reason they brought her here is like, I wonder if they're middlemen. But anyways, okay, so like they want pictures of her being this normal girl, right? And then they probably put that in the catalog, and then for X and X price, you get access to see X and X and X, and then, all the way up into, but it feels like they would have kept her around for years, but it was too high risk. So we had to do a standard dozier. I'm gonna have to look that up, D-O-Z-I-E-R, dozier. So it getting tracked back to them just with so much attention and focus. Okay, so now I'm seeing a couch. The couch has a pillow on it. Summer wants to go home now. Like she misses her mom and dad. But they're trying to act nicer and saying, this is your new home, see? Don't you like us? And blah, blah. They told you to come with us. It's mind-blowing that grown men would hurt a child like that, Okay, so I don't need to see any more of that. I'm asking my spirit guides to clear that, please. And then just if there's any, so there's men that like to also see little girls cry by hurting them, mauling them. I feel like a good snuff film could bring in about 50 grand or something like that. Dime a dozen. Little girls in the countryside get sold cheap. Some just brutal things. I don't think there's any point to see any of that. I think what it is if she dead in real life, if she's dead, which unfortunately appears to be the case. Where is she buried? What did they do with her? Where they buried her is down a hill. Because you would definitely not be able to walk. You have to put yourself sideways and go down sideways like that. You could step conceivably sideways, but you couldn't go straight down. Or you'd fall. But if you put your feet sideways to the mountain, sideways to side, so it would look for someone named Sideways Mountain, Sideways Road, that kind of thing. Let's see. I've seen a newspaper article of them being arrested, so I don't know if that's for past offense or for the future. I see summer, so it might be that they will get arrested. I got a lot of spirit energy, so they're going to get arrested. Well, they lead summer. Someone will make a deal and lead Summer to the body of Summer, probably. I got some spirit energy on that. But that's what's going to happen.
And my experience when she talks about chills or the whole spirit energy thing, she says a lot of times that's the stuff that is right on the money. Like with the JJ, going back to the JJ and TYLEE stuff, reading, there were a number of times where she said, I've got chills. And those were the things that were dead on exactamundo. So that's the stuff you really take to heart, that more than likely is the case. So that gives me good feelings that maybe one day there will be arrest for what happened to Summer. I really hope.
And so that's how they'll find her body, but it's like, okay, so I'm gonna look up the carousel. This seems like both parents were in agreement about her. Candace wanted to make sure to get rid of her before kindergarten, was hoping to get rid of her before kindergarten started. So there'd be less notice of it. But I feel like it was arranged through mutual sex offender friends. Got some spirit energy. It's not super big chills. Putting that up, and then they have sex offender friends, and then it's a friend of a friend of a friend of a thing like that. Or were they contacted? I don't know. Let me see. Back to the carousel. Twin. There's a really weird reflection. It's like it's a carousel. It's like it's a real one in a way that they bring her to. But then there's a mirror underneath, and it's like you see straight down, like if it was a toy carousel. So they act to Summer like they're going to be super nice to her, buy her an ice cream cone, gain her but her parents told her to go. That trade-off for money may have happened at that carousel.
So now you can see why we've kind of wanted to keep it.
For some reason, I'm seeing John Bonet. And I'm seeing the blonde guy who lived in a trailer park or something like that. I don't know if the blonde guy lived in the trailer park or the guy who told on the blonde guy lives in the trailer park. I can't remember, but the blonde guy that was the suspect. Don't know why I'm seeing him. It seems to have to do with his haircut, and I wouldn't call it so much a mullet. Okay, so what they're showing me is they're showing me different characters because of all these YouTube videos. So they're showing me the guy who put the wreath on the church. Is he a sex offender? Does he, I get a little spirit energy. Does he know of sex offenders? Oh, okay, I shouldn't be asking. It could be that they're running me through all these characters because then they're going to show me which ones it's not and stuff like that. So I'm not seeing the person doing anything wrong. And I got chills on my legs, yeah. So I think they're just kind of acknowledging all these different things that people have been sending me.
Okay, to what Xtina said in the comments, she said Candace did not unalive Summer. Yeah. What Donna feels is that she made the connection, as in she connected Summer with whoever it is that did that. Or there could have been a middleman, and then that middleman transferred her to the person who did. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to not be too obscene in how I describe it. Anyway, we'll carry on.
I feel like some sort of candy cane house or gingerbread house. I mean, I see a gingerbread house, but I feel like calling it the candy cane house. And the reason I feel like calling it that is because, like, the doorways look like they're made of candy canes. And then the grandma comes into my awareness. Then they're showing me the Jose guy, and then they gave me the feeling of Candace making a actual deal where he could do something to Summer. And that might actually be what Dawn was actually mad about.
This gets pretty descriptive, guys. Just a heads up.
Rather than Candace sex with Jose, it would be Candace selling Summer to Jose. I have this peaceful, floaty energy, but I don't have chills on my legs about that, so I don't know if it's true or not. I think I'll only on this put up anything on the internet if I have chills about it. I'm seeing things crossing over, like if you made a zigzag part in your hair and crossed it over, and it's not necessarily a zigzag thing in someone's hair, but I'm just seeing maybe it drawn or a pattern of that. So if there's a name of a pattern like that, or if it will come up, it's like, I'm sure it was never done in Summer's hair, I'm not, yeah, I got chills. It was never done in Summer's hair. So, and it's not necessarily someone's hair either. It could be like on a drawing. It could be like a basket, handle.
That's a good reminder. Let's see. Heather says, ask Fred about the candy cane house. I will. Let me write that down so I remember. Anyway, we'll carry on.
Could be anything, but there's a pattern about that. You know, when you, back in the 60s, we thought it was fun to take like the juicy fruit gum or the double mint gum and make those long kind of ropes where you folded the papers over each other. This is an actual clue, surprisingly. I got chills on my legs.
So what she's hitting on right here, I still don't altogether 100% know, but we suspect it could have something to do with the Ripley's Museum. Still, it's kind of up to interpretation, and that's what I guess a lot of mediumship is. The more I understand it from her is, from what I can gather, they will layer together information, and something about the thing she sees could be a clue for where she was either put or something around what happened to her. So it's something that's important to what happened to Summer, in other words.
I don't know if it's the devilment or the making that gum thing. Yeah, that making that gum thing is actually a clue. It's a clue. Somebody will know what I'm talking about. It'll just come in somewhere. That's an actual clue. Okay. I'm just seeing this murder again, and it's really horrific. There's no point in me saying what I see. And then I start saying, oh, I must, but it's men like to hurt little girls. They like to hurt them. There's no sex about this, or there's no pedophilia. They're thinking they're doing something. I can't say about what with Dawn, but with who's hurting Summer this bad right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I see. I actually used to monitor sex offenders in the community, which I understand about Dawn Wells. But what I'm just talking about now specifically is isolating this final incident. And I got a rise in spirit energy about that. And Jackrabbit runs so fast. They're showing me specifically, I'm seeing putting the back feet before the front feet before flying, jumping through the air. That's how they run so fast.
So as odd as that sounds about a jackrabbit, that could be very relevant too. It could be a street name. I mean, honestly, it could be anything, but it has something to do with what happened to Summer. Some clue. So guys, if you live in that area, keep your eyes peeled for anything you're hearing. It could have meaning.
I didn't get any chills with that, so I'm not going to upload it. I'm not going to upload anything unless I get chills. Or at least a wave of spirit energy. Because I don't want to be accusing people of things. I just don't. Can I get the spirit energy if Summer is deceased? Well, what I'm seeing is my daughter holding Summer on her lap. She's hugging her. Summer's bare feet. And dirty, and she's trying to show somebody something. Candace and Dawn both abuse Summer, both of them. Okay. And Grandma knows exactly what's up. I just feel like Grandma totally knows. And she also blocked me. I messaged her and she blocked me. And I just feel like, you know what? When people have something to hide, that's why they don't want a psychic around. Are you kidding me? If your 5-year-old was missing and someone offered to help you, right. Something to hide. They always have something to hide. Grandma has something to hide, and that's called knowledge. I'm seeing Candace to go, or not Candace, the little girl. Candace help little girl on the horse thing. On the carousel ride. Okay, so here's my alternate. And I'm being shown my alternate, so I'm not sure why. But my alternate is she was dying or in the early stages of death. And I know experts said, no. But, I mean, she could have just took her last breath 5 minutes before that, or else being slowing down of the heart where she's like, to me, I got a little spirit energy on my leg. Slowing down of the heart. So, did she have dry drowning? If she did, it feels like if Candace handed her off to Dawn, and Dawn had the opportunity to have sex with her while she was still warm, would he? Yes, I feel like he would.
So when she talks about actually seeing her alternate scenario, that I've asked her before, and I think what it really means is just an alternate scenario, just as she describes it. So whatever that means, I honestly don't know. I wish she was here to explain it better. Interesting though. So if these other things didn't happen, could it have been that it was something that they were contemplating? Why is Donna seeing this other scenario? I think that's so interesting.
I have some weird spirit energy too. It's like weird spirit energy. It's the abyss. It's just the abyss. I asked Nicole if she's there to bring me to a memory, and then I got a wave of spirit energy. And the memory was when she was in first grade. This couple moved there, but the man was, I don't know if he was in the military or a business, but he was gone from home for periods of time. And I got chills on my leg. So the woman abused the kids. Like, she couldn't handle being there with 4 kids or whatever. I didn't know this at first. I let my daughter play there. I left her there for an afternoon. I mean, it's just shocking. I don't know if my daughter told me but I acted really nice to this other little girl all the time at school, and the other little girl had bruises on her face before, and then I said, like, oh, what happened or whatever, and then she said her mom hit her. And so then I went all over the school demanding them to do something, to call the police, call CPS, to get those kids out of there now and stuff like that. And they kept shining me on. And finally I got so insistent, I was like, almost yelled at them. I was like, if you guys don't do something, I'm going to call the police myself right now. Stuff like that. And finally the principal took me into his office and told me they didn't want to tell me, but they already called the police. They already called CPS. The CPS is going over there. They're probably going to remove all the kids from the home, or they're in the process of all this. And yeah, so I got like this chills on my legs. So CPS is in the process of removing all these children from the home. Huge chills on my legs. And Summer's gonna be gone anyways when they find out what we've been doing to her. We'll lose all the kids. Okay, it's kind of going away. Okay, so they showed me this one thing about this little girl. The interpretation I would get would be that people can rest assured that people have reported this. People have reported, like, say, Robin or whoever, people have reported what they know. Whoever, friends, whatever. It feels like Dawn is saying, we got to get rid of Summer. We can't keep her around. Like, we're going to lose all the kids. It's like both of them, but Summer brings up the idea. I mean, Candace, that's how it feels to me. And it feels like, I feel spirit energy, but I don't have chills. So, okay. That's Dawn's primary fantasy age. And for the next 5 years. So, if he could get away with it, why would he get rid of his daughter when he just has his fantasy right there? At his discretion and disposal, right? He's got a wife that grew up being abused, a grandmother that probably grew up being abused as well. They're very aggressive people. They just have no mercy on this little Summer. Like, I got a wave of spirit energy. Kind of a chill on one leg there. I'm seeing a kitchen. I don't know if it's a kitchen, but like anyways, I'm seeing like the refrigerator. I know they said JJ was on top, but I see the girl on top. I see Summer on top of the refrigerator. She was hard to handle, and
Do you guys remember? I wonder who can remember this. There was I think a photo that was circulating. This would have been nearly 4.5 years ago or something, of Summer either by a refrigerator in the front yard or on top of it. It was something to that in that realm, I guess. Do you guys remember anything like that? Because this was clearly before that picture was in circulation, because I thought this was so weird what she said here. But then eventually I saw a picture of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of wild. Super weird.
Candace didn't like the constant, it just feels like Candace whacks her across the head all the time. Feels like the Candace is the leader about getting rid of Summer. And one excuse she has is Don's fixation on her. Another excuse she has is the CPS investigation could reveal massive sexual abuse. Not just by Don, but by Candace. And Candace selling her to people like Jose or whatever. So you have this man.
Now, I'm not sure why she says Jose there. We truly don't know, and now we never can know, because Jose died, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago. It's kind of weird, though.
Camping across the street, watching the family. Why would he shave his head and his beard? Except for to not let them get his hair follicles. And if he went back to his wife's house, did he shave his pubic hair and his arm hair and his leg hair also? I have a sick feeling in my stomach. I don't have any chills. Could this man have done this? See, the thing is, Summer was for sale, just like Dawn's Facebook profile. Who would put this obvious glaring, this is a pedophile for sale signal, this red barrel that says for sale, and then she has Summer dancing in the rain? What the hell do we think it means? Yeah, I got chills again. Mama sold her daughter to pedophiles.
There's something really bizarre sometimes that will happen in these readings where Donna will start picking up the accent of the person, that as far as how they talk. And I think right here she started to do that. She sort of had like a southern drawl almost. Really wild.
I'm also getting a Jason. And that could be a total random person. It could be the name of a street. It could be anything. And it also could be that I'm getting the whole, first I'm getting J and then Jason, but the J is big, so it might just be they're trying to get me to say J. That's how mediumship is. Like, it's very fluid and it's very interpretive of what they show you, and they're not, well, sometimes you get a thought transfer, sometimes you hear a sound, but it's mostly visual. I still am getting, like, beaten to death and stabbed to death, like, but, I mean, it's like for a movie. I don't have chills, though. Maybe it's because I'm not supposed to put it online. Grandma? Okay, so what's information that law enforcement, it doesn't matter to prove anything to people. What's information that law enforcement can use? And I got a chill on my leg. Ivy Bridge train. Steamboat. Not an actual steamboat, it's just like a name wisping by or something wisping by. So it could be on a sign, it could be a picture, it could be anything. And it could be like you're driving up the street and you see a sign that has a steamboat or something.
Make sure you guys are paying very close attention to these clues she says, because if you live in this area, please keep your eyes peeled. I know I said it already. This could matter. Summer could be not too far off from these places she's zeroing in on right now.
Like that. And I got chills, a little bit of chills on my legs about that. You know, it could be the name of something bigger like a town or something, but I don't know. I mean, it could be super small, like the name of a street or the name of the thing. Could be a billboard for all I know, you know. But I got chills on my legs about it, so I'll put that. Who is Darren Stevens? So I'm seeing the black and white Darren. They don't show me an actual real person. They show me Darren. And Darren handled money. He's the one who paid for this. And then part of my other mind goes, well, if you had a pedophile ring, right? And these guys share photos of their own kids, then at the next level, they might donate all their kids to some one area where they're kept, where they can, and then they can give other kids too. But to do that, they're giving one of their kids to that, like a club, pedophile club ring. Let's see. I guess I'm sick of a feeling about that. Seen about my neighbor getting divorced. So this has to do, does this have to do with summer, getting rid of summer for this,
Okay, I need to interrupt real quick. A commenter made a very important point that I wanted to ask you guys, if you guys remember. So where's the comment? Here it is. Abigail, Sweetie PieLo, I believe Candace shaved Summer's hair off. Yeah, recently I came across some info that just prior to her disappearance, her head was shaved. Do you guys remember hearing that as well? Like that was a new thing. She hadn't had a shaved head for long, had she? Please just let me know in the comments. We'll carry on.
CPS is investigating them. Candace is concerned they'll take all the boys when they find out what's been done to Summer. And you know, at first when I looked at Summer, my logical mind says dry drowning, but she could be that passed out if they gave her one of Grandma's pills, like in some candy or put it in her slushie or whatever. It's just a thought. It's not like I'm getting it psychically or anything. No spirit energy on it, though. Summer's wearing a little bikini and eating some watermelon. Candace knows that Dawn wants to look at Summer while having sex with her. He wants to cuddle with Summer.
Guys, this is quite a bit of time, I think, before it came out in the Chris McDonough interview with Dawn, where he was talking about cuddling and stuff. And yeah, in a lot of families, that's quite normal. Dads and daughters, sharing affection because, they're family, right? But we're talking about the inappropriate type. Obviously, two different things, completely different things.
Well, she's just, there. Donna's molesting Summer in front of Candace. And Candace grew up being molested. She's been raped and abused her whole life. She just, she's resentful.
Important point right here Carla Bergeron makes. taking showers together. That came out over the course of a few months after the disappearance. We started to hear that from Allie, I think it was. That maybe was it even Jody Sue, you guys? I'm trying to remember. I apologize for not remembering all this. It's been so long. But I do remember that about the showers. I just don't recall who said it. And yes, that did come out. That's factual. Yeah.
She doesn't know how to love a child or defend it. She doesn't even know how. It's never been shown. She's been abused all her whole life. Nobody ever defended her. She doesn't know what it is to defend a child against that, against a man belittling her and then, you know, abusing the daughter there.
It's tripping me out how many validations we're hearing so far, guys. You have to remember, go back in your mind, August 2021, Summer had been missing about a month and a half or so. We knew a little bit, but we didn't know that much. And a lot of this has been validated about the clinginess between Dawn and Summer, his focus on her, being very close to her, the showers, the sleeping next to each other. I mean, this is a lot. This is a lot of validation here. It's crazy.
She hit Summer. But Dawn hit Summer too. Okay, I'm seeing the guy he fired. Like, look at all the good suspects they have. The guy he fired, the guy camping across the street, the guy they fired is on some crocodile stuff or whatever. Yeah. So I got some chills on my legs. Could Candace have sold him to that guy? Or if you want to make some money, you can drive her to here. Yeah, Candace is, it feels to me like I keep seeing Candace getting rid of Summer. I don't see her killing her on purpose. And it's not like she wants to hurt her. She just wants her gone. She's tired of laying there while Donnie's taking at her or whatever. He's, just wording she's. Yeah, I got chills. I got spirit energy across my legs. I got chills on my arms.
Remember Dawn's sister Mary and Jeannie. That's right, Mary and Jeannie had come out about their history with Dawn Wells too. If you read between the lines, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a bunch of validations here with Dawn's behavior and what Dawn is saying here. To me, it all lines up perfectly.
So Candace makes a deal with somebody to get rid of her. That's what happens.
Hold on. I was off on the age. Jeannie was 5. Jeannie was 5. Oh my gosh, it's so much worse than I remembered. Jeannie was 5. And Summer was 5. Guys, let that sink in. Just so sick. Wow. Thank you, Annie. I honestly thought it was something like that, but I thought that was so extreme to say. But no, you were right. I should have just said it from the beginning. I thought it was a little older, though, ultimately, Who wants to believe that he would do that to a 5-year-old? But he did.
And they might take her across state lines. I don't know. It might be related to Candace's old friends from the carnival. I got waves of spirit energy on my legs. So she becomes a liability. I got chills on my legs. She becomes a liability because this case is getting too high profile. So whereas they might have kept around for some kind of
Thank you for clearing that up, guys. It's worse than I said. He was 12, Mary was 5. Good God, that's horrible. I'm sorry to even talk about that.
you know, whatever they do. So they made a real display out of killing her. But then I'm showing her in the back seat and I'm like, is she dead there? I get a chill on my leg about they drugged her so that she could, I got chill on my leg about that. They drugged her so that she could make the transfer easy. So I'm seeing the carousel again. I'm seeing the idea of wearing a costume, or, you know, kind of an executioner's hood or something. The whole cape thing got going, the whole cape thing. It doesn't, so it feels like this guy. Now he's got her body to deal with. Feels like he's, where I see him burying it is like under the dirt at this building. And I know I've seen it like in a hollow tree stump, but I don't see that right now. It could be in a hollow tree stump, her body could be.
She said she's seen it in a few different places, guys, like it has been moved. She feels confidently about that.
So if I go to Kingston and take a left, go on the map that way. Whisper Willows. You know, the good thing is, I do believe that they will arrest somebody, and then this is because there's more than one person involved. One person is going to make a deal to show them where the body is. I have Candace in front of my face. Is Candace going to make a deal to show them where? Does Candace know where her body is? Just a little bit of chill on one leg. Is Candace going to be able to find out where her body is? No. No energy on that. So the man, the cartoonish man with the top hat, it's like he puts on a whole show about hurting the little girl. He enjoyed that. See, that's what people don't get. He doesn't feel guilty. He enjoyed that. So maybe if people think they're closing in on him. Yeah, and I got chills on my legs. Is the little girl deceased? Please give me chills. Please give me chills if she's deceased so I know for sure. So then I don't block out anything. Is she still alive? I see him stab her, among other things.
If you guys are new in the chat or new clicking on my video, make sure you don't miss the beginning of this live stream where we actually listen to Donna going back to the JJ and TYLEE case from 2020. And you can hear all the key details she said 5 months before come out not only from her reading, but to court testimony. You can hear that as well. It is crazy. So I hope that that gives credence to what you're hearing here, that more than likely, so much of this information here is top notch. As sad as it is to think about, it's more than likely very relevant info here.
If what I see is true, then Candace is going to need to go to prison. Then I don't know if they'll be able to prove anything about Don unless they've got photos. And they might. Look, he had a camera. Let's put it that way. Yeah, they'll find some photos, alright. I got chills on my legs about that. They're going to find photos of Don doing things. And I got chills about that too. I'm seeing her color crown. Show me where her body is. They could not risk having Summer interviewed by CPS. I got chills on my legs about that. That might have been as much a motivation as but couldn't they just send her to another state then? See, Grandma doesn't have any problem with kids being sexually abused either. She's mean. Like, I don't know how Candace can even be friends with her mom. Her mom, I just keep feeling like her mom would take a leather strap to them. And it's this weird kind of consensual mind abuse that makes the kid feel like it's their fault or something. Like they did something wrong. There's something about them that's wrong. Why the victimization? The mom's not helping. There's a sequence of events that I don't quite get down. It's like Don's laying it on for the cameras. He knows they'll go away. He's just laying it on.
If you guys were here for the last live stream that we did, there was a point where I think you could feel Donna's anger about what these people have done to kids. And I hope that everybody understands that it's probably different for Donna because she actually sees these things more like a witness would. It'd be like if you saw something in your living room, that's the degree to which she sees these events happen. And so she was pretty angry. And a lot of people have been speaking up about it. So I just ask that you put yourself in her shoes. If you saw something horrible happening to a child, wouldn't you be indignant about it? I know I would. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would be. And what we have on YouTube, sadly, is a lot of pedo protectors, pedo apologists, pedo protectors, and they've been doing this the whole time in the Summer Wells case, just causing a ruckus, covering for Dawn and Candace, sucking up to Grandma. It's disgusting. It's actually disgusting.
It could even be that they were going to have her in a trafficking ring for a year or two until things got back to normal. Everything just went out of control or something like that. But maybe she's still alive, you know? Every time I say that, I see someone just plunge a knife into her stomach while she's like, I don't know if she's tied on this like altar-ish table thing or what. I'm seeing that snake thing that guy drew the ley lines to. The ley line that goes to Summer's house. I'm seeing the red and white stars. I feel like, I don't know, there's some connection to this carnival or carousel, steam train, ravine.
So this could be somebody who worked for the carnival, somebody who maybe met Candace at the carnival, maybe a ride. This has multiple interpretations. So guys, use your best interpretation.
Yeah, why did I see them burying the body and the dirt in the building, but then I see them poor baby. Right, rising spirit energy on that. Poor baby. Ben, just Melvin, just evil. It's like Candace is just Melvin, just evil.
Not sure if you guys remember this part where she cites just Melvin, just evil. I think it's a documentary about a very, very incestuous family somewhere in the South or something like that. Maybe it was Virginia. It is very alarming, guys. If you ever watch that, beware. It's extremely graphic. But she says that that's what this felt like. Channeling this situation felt like watching that documentary.
Not that it's like all she knows. Like I don't see her sexually abusing the boys, and I don't see her that she's like taking part in it, but it's not that she's letting it happen, it's just that she doesn't even know any different to say this isn't not normal, you know, I'm calling the police on you right now and stuff like that. It's more like that's what men do. Can try to keep her off him or keep him off her. But he ain't gonna do that. He's got a fetish for small children. Gotta put food in my other children's mouths. And we depend on him. Summer wasn't making our family happier. Especially since Donnie, all Donnie wanted to do is be down there alone with her. Like, he ain't acting like a normal husband.
Are you guys catching this? This is kind of nuts right here. She is talking just like somebody in the family, in the Candace Wells, Don Wells family would talk. She even says Donnie, which is what his family calls him. I think she's channeling Candace or Grandis, one of the two. This is wild. Yeah, I think it's Candace.
It's been. And Grandma's like, you got to get rid of her. She's your competition right there. Are you kidding? There's people that pay a pretty penny for a child like that. And keep in their basement somewhere. Like, I think Grandma is the one who came up with the idea. And maybe John agreed to it because CPS was biting at their tails or whatever. They all know. That's how I feel. They all know. Dawn, Candace, and the grandma all know. And Grandma is a seasoned criminal. And I don't care if she's ever been arrested. She is. She's a criminal of allowing the hurting of children. These women who think they pretend they don't know what's going on, you're guilty. You're just as guilty. Who would let a child be abused by a man in their house? You're guilty too. So quit pretending you're not. And that grandma is guilty. Candace is guilty of that. And she's guilty of selling her. That's what I get. She's selling her, got rid of her, gave her away. Candace is the one, but it's like all of them agreed on it. Like I said, Grandma might have even just put that idea in Candace's mind when Candace is complaining about that all Dawn wants to do is touch the child's private parts, or, do that I don't want to talk about. Hopefully the police found lots of pictures. And they'll be making arrests, and someone will be telling them where the body is. And I have some spirit energy about that. So, well, let's just look forward to that day. Because it really, really pisses me off. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, it's what's upside down is up, and what's upside down is down. What's upside down is up. And what's downside down is up. There's some twin thing. Now, I don't say twin, I mean, there's some, there's the yin and the yang, and these opposites, and like as above, so below, all that, but there's something connected to that, and I have some chills on my legs. I don't know what it is, but there's something connected.
Seems like she was the main pusher of this getting summer. Fina's second meditation reading she did on Summer Wells. That was the raw, unadulterated version. I just kind of had to blur some words out so they weren't so clear. You know what I mean? I knew you guys would probably be able to put one and one together to figure out what those words were otherwise, so I wasn't worried about it. But the biggest takeaways from what we just heard are that Candace, it seems like she was the main pusher of this getting Summer out of the picture idea. Though it was possibly her mother's suggestion, so we're talking Grandma Candace's suggestion, it was really Candace that carried the torch on that. The mother of Summer Wells, that is. In Donna's opinion, she feels that life in prison is required for this sort of horrendous sin. She also made a note that Grandma is a person, like the type to take a switch to a child, and that summer came to a tragic ending, seemed like with a knife on a table during a snuff film. So it's just awful to imagine, and I'm so sorry. I know that it's not easy to hear this, but I wanted to just kind of tie it up for maybe if you missed a word or something. This was a quick recap on some of those main points. There was definitely a connection to a carousel. The photo of Summer next to the milk seems, in Donna's mind, it's possible that maybe Summer was drugged in some way to make the transition over to where she was going easier. Whether Candace did cross state lines or not sure. And I think as soon as Donna can do a reading with one of these people that knew Summer, so many more things will become very clear to her at that point. She also made mention of a documentary called Just Melvin, Just Evil, and its connection to what she sees in Candace's family, that there is this systematic SA problem that seems to be passed down generation to generation and ruins the lives of the entire family, causes the bad decision making, causes the bad relationship and partner choosing. It's a horrible curse. Even her own husband, even Candace's own husband, has a fetish for small children. And she has to stay because she depends on him financially. It's pretty obvious to see, and really tragic too. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, I guess for listening.
I'm not going to stand and watch you guys demoralize and defame me, my friends, Ziggy and Fred also. It's like this, it's unacceptable. So thank you guys for being here. Please do me a huge solid. Hit the like button on your way out and share this video out where you can. Thank you for being here today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Lots of love to you and yours. Bye.